Greetings to you folks and welcome back to Maya Conference. Before anything, we would love to give our hearts out to our fellow brothers and sisters during this hard time of having to deal with racism. Rest in power, our fallen angels. On today's topic of freedom of speech will be exclusively discussed by four hosts, including me, Sharifah Aareena, as the main host. We will have Nur Nabila to talk about free speech in womanhood, Soraya Masaud in social media and online news portal, and her very own Hulia Ahmad on free media for the society. Then, all of us will discuss on the manipulation of free speech to normalize hate speech and to silence the minorities. So, Andrew Prozorowski mentioned in his article of the Daily Ilini that free speech must be an absolute and pure right, with the exception of being constitutionally backed and reaffirmed by the law. He stresses that it is important to grant protection to those who need it. And he said that people should be more aware of the different types of free speech that go around, such as hate speech that promotes prejudice. He also mentions the term symbolic speech, which means to inexplicitly convey messages. He stresses that free speech are for those who suffer from silent speech and not the privileged. Now, I would love to invite my fellow colleague, Nur Nabila, to talk about the free speech in womanhood. Take it away, Iman.
Thank you to our main host, Sharifah Aareena, and Assalamu alaikum to other honor panelists. Now, I'll be taking over the forum to talk about my article that I reviewed before. Is about women and her brave action to speak up. Her actions portrayed in the article had me strongly agreed with the stance of the author, saying that we need to speak up if there's anyone has robbed our right. This is where freedom of speech matters, as you can defend yourself without being suspected of talking gibberish. Even though we have freedom to speak up, we need to speak based on the right facts. The author was not acting like a crazy woman shouting unnecessarily, but she was just being bold to get her and already right. My son here shows that I am on the right side because if I were in her shoes, I will act the same. If the world thinks that male is dominating the world and the women should just shut a mouth up, you are wrong. Male should practice to respect women's right and views as well. We need a change about the society thinks or feels about us, the way in which different groups thinks about us. We are tired of always being at the back. As in the article, the male has no respect to us women at all. Girls and young women has been silent for a long time, and it is a time, the right opportunity for us to speak up. No one can do it for us. We must speak for ourselves. Thank you. And now I'll be passing the mic to the next presenter, which is Soraya Masaud. Take it away, Soraya.
Thank you, Nur Nabila. I am Soraya Masaud, and thank you to Sharifah Aareena as the main host and as well as Hulia Ahmad as the panel. So, firstly, based on an article that I did my research on it is an article by News Straits Times by Datuk Dr. Rohaini Ahmad. He is a well-known name in the political world as well as the journalist. The article talks about the limit of freedom on social media and online news portals concerning postings and comments about sensitive contents such as religions and race. The author in the article said he sided with his lecturer's statement about the limitation of individual liberty based on the concept of freedom by Max Weber. He is a German sociologist. Therefore, it is parallel to the intention of Pakatan Harapan government at the moment to regulate the social media postings. So it is believed if no action is being taken to remind that no freedom is unlimited, it will lead to a much more bigger problem. Therefore, we need to protect free speech as to avoid the manipulation of free speech by regulating online postings such as the postings that involve sensitive topics about royals, race, religions, and much more. So next, continuing on to Hulia Ahmad, the one and only.
Thank you, Soraya. Assalamualaikum. Tajahau. Yang pedih hingga vanakkam to all. As I agree to protect free speech are based on an article written by Datuk Muhammad Arif Mat Yusof, a speaker of Dewan Rakyat. So, pertaining to the article, media should have the liberty to report the truth to the society as media has been a great influencer since forever. Therefore, people are likely to believe everything that the media serves. So, I believe that society should have enough access to information because once we have enough access to information, eventually we can practice freedom of expression, especially in democratic country like Malaysia. But to have enough access to information and freedom of expression, we need the media to have the right to report the truth only to the society. And that is how a true democracy should work, to ensure that the aspiration on becoming a developed country is realized. And also, I agree in protecting the free speech because of the evidence provided by the writer, which directed to Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948, which mentioned that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression, including freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of franchise. I think that is all for me regarding to the right for free media. Here's the mic.
Thank you,
Thank
Hulia
you.
Ahmad. Now, moving on to the manipulation of free speech to normalize hate speech and silent minorities. I will start off by pointing Nesrin Malik's opinion in The Guardian, saying that media outlets have to be more careful now as people counter these free speeches with argumentative techniques. Refusing to talk about free speech is said to be a negative attribute. They also have to be more prepared and ready for the comments that the people might give, uplifting and even the destructive ones. So I will call upon Surya Masaud to continue the discussion.
Okay, thank you to Sharifah Areena. So, from my own research based on the same article by Nasrin Malik on the manipulation of free speech, the author used real evidence in her article, which was her own experience as one of the renowned journalists at Guardian, where she received declining reactions as time goes by. This is very worrying because her audience told her to go back to her own country, as she is a Sudanese woman and not the native American or white people. So I think this is why we need to protect free speech to avoid these kind of things. Next, why don't Iman Nabila first to talk about it?
Alright, thank you, Soraya. There's one part in the article that I agree with the author. Voices out the problem when there are people mistakenly understand the use of free speech. The free utterance makes them mindlessly normalize hate speech and silence the minority's voice, and that actually shouldn't be happen because free speech has its own limitations. This is what happens if they are not brainwashed with the consequences of free speech. The right of free speech has made them going insane. And I think that's all from my opinion. Now, let's hear out the opinion from Hulia Ahmad.
Thank you. So firstly, based on an example given in the same article, the supporters of Boris Johnson, the one who made a racist comment towards women who wears niqab, seem to claim that Johnson is actually using his freedom of speech. They seem to be confused by the difference between free speech and hate speech. That is why I agree with what Iman Nabila has mentioned just now, that free speech should have its limitation to the point which we are not allowed to harm others to get what we want or hurt someone either verbally or non-verbally. This shows that free speech without its limitation can also lead to hate speech that is obviously intolerable and will only cause dispute. Thus, people should use their freedom of speech wisely. Thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight and giving out your opinion on the articles. I believe that that is all that we have to discuss. If we don't have anything else, thank you and stay safe during this pandemic, everyone.